Vash the Stampede is a walking contradiction. In a desolate world where might rules and aggression is the norm, Vash protects the weak and de-escalates tensions. He carries a massive gun and channels sci-fi powers, yet he's devoted to preserving life and spreading love and peace. Unfortunately, a character like that is tough to pull off in D&D. Pacifist playstyles are light on rule support in 5e, so you often have to rely on table rulings. Fortunately, I've got something that can help. Because today, I'll be showcasing 5 D&D Homebrew options I designed that let you play like Vash without falling behind in combat. I also have a 6th awesome setting option that puts you in a desert punk world just like Vash's. This is My Wife is the MC. I'm V, and let's take pop culture to pen and paper with the Trigun series. Trigun got a 2023 remake from Studio Orange, which featured their B-Stars level of CGI. Now I say remake, because there was an anime that came out 15 years ago that loosely adapted the original manga. What do you mean 1998 wasn't 15 years ago? Fuck! Trigun is set on the planet Gunsmoke, a sandy wasteland that's cooking under the fiery gaze of 2 blazing suns. Its inhabitants are the descendants of surviving colonists, whose fleet of starships crash-landed on the desert planet. This makes for a fascinating setting where sci-fi and western elements create a unique vista of rust, sand, and tech. And walking endlessly across the desert plains is the immortal Vash the Stampede, a mysterious red figure whose past is directly tied to Gunsmoke's original, if impromptu, settlers. Now, porting that setting over to your D&D table is gonna take a lot of work, but I've got something that does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Let's flip that special card and show you Scorched Basin. This is the new Kickstarter project by this video sponsor, Homie and the Dude. Scorched Basin is a desert punk campaign setting that's compatible with D&D, Shadow Dark, and more. Imagine a mix of Dune's hoity-toity socialites and colossal desert megafauna with the raw and rusty caravans of Mad Max. And when I say heavy lifting, I mean heavy lifting. You can find fully fleshed out history, lore, maps, 5 unique factions, and even its own magic system. Meanwhile, players can mix the setting's unique flora with the alchemy system, or trek across the sandy plains with their own land vehicles. And this is on top of new player options tied to each faction. This book has everything you need to drag and drop into an existing campaign, or use it as a foundation for a new setting. The folks at Homie and the Dude even gave me the honor of doing a voiceover for one of their Kickstarter promotions. Back Scorched Basin by clicking the first link in the description. It's live now through October 9. Backing the project also supports the channel and keeps MC's risotto addiction at bay. So thank you for your support, and a huge thank you to Homie and the Dude for sponsoring this video. Other than his iconic red coat, one of the first things you notice about Vash is his big red revolver. So let's flip that first card with the new homebrew items. Let's start with Vash's iconic gun, the 45 Long Colt. I know firearms already exist in the DMG, but here's the thing. They're a little too strong to be given to a tier 2 or even early tier 3 character. So I made a new revolver item that's a little better in terms of balance. I used the DMG's revolver as a base item, but I created a new weapon property in the form of Steady. It has 2 damage numbers, a D8 and a D10, and it works similarly to the versatile property. Now, I could have just said versatile and called it a day, but the property is only for melee weapons, so I had to get a little creative. While wielding the firearms with both hands, the weapon deals 1d8 piercing damage. But if you wield it with both hands and while you have half your speed remaining, the weapon deals 2d6 piercing damage instead. The speed part matters since the weapon's range isn't particularly far. The homebrew comes with 2 firearms, the pocket pistol and the compact submachine gun. I specifically created these 2 weapons to work with a new magic item called the Arm Prosthetic. This lets you conceal any weapon inside it, provided it doesn't have the 2-handed, versatile, or steady properties. In a fight, you can flip the prosthetic to reveal the weapon and make an attack with it. Other than Vash's weapons, he has another power that comes directly from his lineage. Let's flip that second card and look at the Dynamist species option. In the story, Vash is called a plant, a living generator in human form, meant to power the starships of the space colonizers. This makes Vash functionally immortal, which was portrayed pretty well in the 2023 anime. And the Dynamist reflects this with the Immortal Engine trait, which lets Vash suffer only up to 5 levels of exhaustion instead of 6. And suffering is a core part of Vash's journey. His past experiences with death and grief gave him an intense devotion to preserving life. Unfortunately, Vash has had to break that vow a few times, and he's been left shaken with each life he took. So I designed an optional rule to express that in game. Let's flip that third card and check out the Shaken condition. This is a special condition that you can agree with your DM that your pacifist character can be susceptible to. Your character becomes shaken when they end the life of another creature. They get quite a few debuffs like disadvantage on attacks against bloodied creatures, or potentially becoming frightened when you deal damage. But it also grants benefits like advantage to saves against becoming charmed, and advantage on attacks against non-bloodied creatures. So let's review our card so far. We have new weapons and items, a species option, a new condition, and even a cool new setting you can play in. If you want to see how they all work together along with the final two cards, well, are you comfy at the table? Then let's move over to the action cam. For this showcase, let's make Vash a level 7 fighter, using the Scribe background and the Dynamist species. With the background bonuses and ASIs, his stats look like this. Now, fighters at level 1 get a fighting style. Archery is an easy choice, and we can even pair it up with Sharpshooter at level 4. But there's a reason I didn't take that feat and opted for an ASI instead. Let's flip that penultimate card and reveal the point-blank shooter fighting style. This is similar to the 2015 close quarter shooter UA, but I designed it to be on the same level as other fighting styles. First, it removes disadvantage to ranged weapon attacks while within 5 feet of an enemy. It also grants a +1 bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons, provided your target is within the weapon's normal range. And now for his subclass. Let's reveal the final card, the Quick Draw Pacifist. 4 henchmen led by 1 wraith-like sniper raid a frontier town. The civilians have hidden themselves inside the buildings, but the thugs have begun to knock on their doors. It'll be easy to take them down, but Vash has to do it without ending their lives. Unfortunately, he's down to his last 2 bullets with his main gun and 3 shots with his hidden gun. Luckily, he can attack with confidence even with ranged weapons thanks to Devotion to Life. This is a level 3 feature that gives you the Spare the Dying cantrip and lets you knock out a creature with a ranged weapon. He sees 1 thug and opens fire. Vash swipes the thug's thigh with a well-placed shot, taking them out of the fight but also calling in the rest of the squad. Knocking him out is one thing, but this has a secondary effect with the other level 3 feature, Peacekeeper. This adds the Peacekeeper die, which is a D4, and it's used in many maneuver-like abilities. And while a D4 doesn't look like much, it can grow up to a D8 with life-preserving acts. In this case, knocking out the thug increased that D4 by 2 sizes, immediately maxing it out to a D8. Vash spots an armored brute carrying a Gatling gun that's been kit bashed with engine parts and held together by chains. He fires his last bullet to prevent mass casualties from such a weapon, using celerity to increase his damage. Vash takes a chunk out of the brute's armor, but unfortunately still in the fight. Using celerity also reverted his Peacekeeper die to a D4. Vash puts his back to the wall and sees a non-combatant hiding behind a window. He'll use Action Surge, flipping his prosthetic arm to reveal a hidden submachine gun. Vash fires 2 shots and plants enough lead onto the Gatling gun to blow it up, knocking out the brute in the process. His Peacekeeper die goes back up to a D8, but he's feeling the pressure of having 1 last shot left. In this desperate situation, he'll use his Dynamist trait to tap into his Star Generator. This is a pool of energy equal to twice his proficiency bonus that he can draw from. Taking 3 points from the pool, he generates 6 Graviton bullets and ends his turn. These add half his proficiency bonus to his ranged weapons damage rolls, and can change the damage type to Force. 2 of the henchmen come in closer and fires at Vash, with one of them swiping his cheek. From atop the far-off crane, the sniper takes aim. But instead of firing at Vash, he'll fire at the non-combatant through the window to lower the man's morale. Even with the cover of the window, the sniper's aim is true. Vash sees the glint of his scope and takes his reaction to use Precision Deflect. This expends 1 ammunition from his ranged weapon to reduce the attack by 1 roll of his Peacekeeper die. With Vash's final shot from his submachine gun, he sprays bullets in the air and deflects the slug out of the sky. Like his other abilities, using this reverts his Peacekeeper die to a D4. At the same time, he won't be able to use Precision Deflect again until his die reaches its maximum size. Vash throws his prosthetic gun away, then takes a bonus action to reload his revolver with Graviton bullets. Attacking the lanky-looking thug, he fires an empowered bullet at him. As the thug goes down, Vash rushes forward, ignoring the shielded brute, and takes aim at the sniper. It's a risky shot, but the sniper is too dangerous to ignore. With all the luck in the world, Vash's aim strikes true, He'll use his level 7 feature De-Escalation and use Reduced Threat, forcing the sniper to make a con save. As part of using Reduced Threat, Vash chooses to reduce his own damage by one roll of his Peacekeeper die. It's a deliberate choice, as this reduces the sniper's con save by the same amount. Reduced Threat unfortunately reduced Vash's damage to 0, but it also ensured the sniper's failed saving throw. Vash can now choose from one of 3 effects, like locking the sniper prone or reducing their next damage roll. He'll choose the Disarm option, forcing the sniper to drop his weapon to any space within 5 feet of him. The sniper's rifle falls from the top of the crane, effectively leaving the sniper unable to fight. The gang leader calls for a retreat as the remaining shield brute runs off. That was a small vertical slice of Vash's full kit of abilities. If pushed hard enough, Vash can activate his Dynamist abilities to form wings or even use his Angelic Gravity Gun. The Quick Draw Pacifist is close to the Monk's Mercy subclass in concept, but mechanically overlaps with the Battle Master. I even borrowed the malleable die sizes from the 2020 UA Sign Knight. To get a better idea of whether this subclass is for you, I interviewed a player, aka my wife, to get her thoughts.
I have thoughts. Mechanically, I think the homebrew stuff captures the struggle that Vash has as an immortal being who wants to protect life. There's admittedly a bit of bookkeeping with tracking the Peacekeeper's die size and the abilities that change it, but it makes every turn more engaging since you have to decide between increasing your die size or using an ability. It also makes keeping people alive an empowering and fulfilling experience, especially when you master the subclass features. The easy answer is I'd play it like Vash, because I like him as a character. I'd play his devotion to life straight, because it can make for some really emotionally charged scenarios. Like, imagine wanting to really end someone, but everything about you, both narratively and mechanically, is geared towards protecting life. I love how the subclass gives you some control over the way enemies attack you or react to you. You can actually use your firearm to manipulate the battlefield with stuff like Precision Deflect. I especially love Reduced Threat, since it gives a lot of options. The high-level stuff makes for some cool heroic setups too. It makes you feel like you're defying fate through sheer determination. I also love this tension between the subclass and the species. The subclass is geared towards keeping people alive, but then the species traits have some very destructive abilities that can make people incompatible with living.
You can find a full document in the second link in the description. The shop page has a linked light version that includes features up to level 7, the new firearms, and the species option completely free. If you like what we do here, please consider supporting the channel by backing Scorched Basin. You can also support us by purchasing from our shop or becoming a Patreon or Ko-Fi member. Membership grants exclusive Discord access, special discounts, and higher tiers get free and early access to my homebrew. And of course, members get you added among these honored mallards you see on screen right now. MC, please do the honors.
Hey yo, it's me, the Mallard Quinn, and we'd like to shoot a very special thank you for these very special mallards. Game Gamer Gamer Gaming, Storm Starshine, Yggdrasil 88, Bryant LW, Coinop 1989, KV, Piku, and Cosplay Battle. And lastly, all hail our Mallard nobility, Hectic Planet. If you're still listening, thanks guys. Seriously, your support means so much to us.
It's been a tumultuous time in the creator spaces recently, especially with YT's recent restricted mode feature. Nobody can really tell if that's the culprit for the recent drop in views across many niches, but it's the only info we got. Even I experienced a drop in views and, well, let's not end this video with a downer. Instead, I'd rather celebrate the fact that I am over halfway through my Exade rewatch and I can finally start writing some early stuff. Gav is also on the way since that one's still fresh on my mind. Anyway, if you want to help out, do check out my last Dawn to Dawn video. I was really proud of that one and I hope you find it cool as well. Until next time, my wife and I hope you have a great day ahead.